what they do best. Here, Game 6, John. Vicky, take it away.
Thank you so much, Rain Day. Game number 6 is here. Listen, we share our opinions. You know, we know a thing or two about Apex, but so do y'all. Let us know your thoughts in the chat. Who do you think is going to take it and why? Predictions from you. Who do you want to win? Who do you think is going to win? Game 6, it all comes down to this. The standings are so close. A 3-horse race, arguably, for first, and a 6-horse race, arguably, for second. It's going to be an insane finish here, Vicky.
It's going to be so close. And also, don't forget to tag us on your tweets, hashtag ALGS. Let us know your thoughts on a lot of these teams, too, because it's so nice to see and us open up with such a close overall lobby in the overall leaderboards as we get to take a look at our final game of the day here in Emea. The action has just started for day number 1, John. I cannot wait to see the rest of the action throughout the rest of the season.
Absolutely. That's a great point, by the way. Tweet us your thoughts. We don't have a chance to see Twitch chat because obviously there's a little bit of a stream delay. So tweet us your thoughts. We'll read some of your tweets at Fallout with 2 T's is my Twitter, at Vicky Kitty, and using the hashtag ALGS. We want to hear your predictions, your thoughts going into game number 6. Shout out to MQZGG saying 6-hour drive to go out of town for work a whole year and watching ALGS. Big shout out to MQZ and everyone else on Twitter engaging and tweeting out their thoughts. Tweet some pictures. I saw a tweet coming through of a father of a newborn last year. Now that newborn is 1 year old. He's watching with his daughter again this year, which you'd love to see. We'd love to see your thoughts using the hashtag ALGS. But the northern zone here, Vicky, a little change up here after 2 southern zones.
I love it because I love going to the north side of World's Edge since we see so many southern circles on World's Edge, but give me the action, give me the shake-up when it comes to the last game. That's what I like to see. I also see a shake-up from Na'Vi, by the way. They're not landing and taking the 50-50 against Echo and Climatizer. Instead, they are landing in Tree. They're contesting HP instead. So that's nice to note because that does highlight the approach that some of these teams are taking, like Na'Vi, looking like they're trying to slow things down to play a lot more safe. They also have control over the beacon and Tree before deciding where they're going to go for that next circle.
Yeah, that's right. KCP changed their loot spots up as well. They're actually going to loot a little bit further north as well, as opposed to the south split, which we saw from them previously. E6, our champions from last game, have won 2 games now. I think the only team to win 2 games in this series. Or sorry, not champions, but they did really, really well last game. They've obviously looked great with this Crypto and Lifeline team comp dropping over in Skyhook. I think they dropped Trials as well, so they'll get themselves a great amount of loot in the grand scheme of things here in Skyhook as they get ready for this last and final game. They, of course, will have Lifeline packages to boot as well, and given the Trials loot that they'll have, all in the hands of Lifeline, that means you're guaranteed. Again, that's one thing that is a reason Lifeline's become more viable. People realized if you have 3 purple items in the inventory of Lifeline, you're guaranteed a gold item in that care package, I believe.
Yeah, you actually talked about it in one of our previous Apex Legends tournament, and I thought that was such very interesting information to note because not only that, you have your Lifeline land over in Trials, get all that loot, there you go. You're set up with the Lifeline composition for the rest of the game. You don't have to fight for that or wait for your care packages there too sometimes. As Turkish Stars, we get to tune into our Turkish team, make their rotation around this POI. It's nice to note with a northern circle that we're going to be seeing the likes of Countdown and Skyhook contested more early on in the game. We did see KCP beyond the wall as well make their rotation already in that direction as well. So there's going to be 3 to 4 squads already in the Skyhook area that you have to look out for.
All right, as things slow down here, I want to take a moment to say shout out to Hydreigon and happy birthday to Hydreigon. Just tweeted out saying it's their birthday today. She sent some love. Big shout out to Hydreigon again. Everyone that's tweeting, enjoying, and engaging in the conversation here. Let us know your thoughts heading into this game 6. Will the Kansas City Pioneers clutch up? Well, guess what? We have a KCP versus E6 early potential fight to ensue. Likely these teams won't take this fight here in early game, but with a Skyhook possible finish, you see a lot of teams early rotating, getting themselves some real estate, but might be foreshadowing for what's to come at the end of this game here. Number 1 versus number 2 right next to each other, Vicky. That is as interesting as it gets.
We're not writing the script, I promise. This is actually so interesting to see that E6 is sharing some of that real estate right neighboring next door to Pioneers. So depends on how they want to approach this. They have the information with that beacon being on the Crypto, but that's something that we've also seen Nasky utilize for their own team composition. So basically, you're going to have congested skies. It doesn't look like it's very friendly to fly out today because of all these Crypto drones out and about. You would think that Game of Drones is getting invited to this party here, but no. You see the EMP coming in. It's Horizon on the outskirts, E6 in the middle, but they can't fully send it because if they do, then that's going to be the green light for Pioneers to clean them up too.
So Damage, a little poking and prodding early here, and here comes the first knock. It's going to be Sir Del on Horizons 0-0. So both E6 and KCP are obviously going tit for tat, point for point here. Every point, every kill matters. KCP gets that one. 1 kill point on the board for the Kansas City Pioneers over E6, but it could have been either teams.
Get to see E6 just waiting patiently as the lifeline care packages do drop right in front of E6. KCP just going to take their time. It's going to be Slayers that's going to just poke around to see what they could get. Oh, nice little purple Evo shield for the squad. You love to see it. Wondering what's on the other side of that care package, but then you put yourself at risk of being in the line of sight of KCP. Looking at this loot, though, yeah, you have limited energy ammo, but you also got that gold extended energy mag. That's always nice to have, so that way you can have your G7 out real quick before your Volt automatically reloads. E6, I like the slower approach that they're taking. You could expect KCP to take a very similar approach, too, just bunkering down inside of that tall building, which is going to give them a better positional advantage. But my eyes are also for the teams that are going to utilize that Skyward dive from the Valkyrie to get into that middle tall building that's in this area of Skyhook.
Meanwhile, we will hear a res come through, and it looks like BSC on the rotate. It's going to be strongest. That's the 3 Muppets. Guess what? Little did they know, there's 7 bajillion teams nearby. This could be very, very scary for them. They might take the lower part of this multi-floor lobby. It looks like they will try to do so. Will KCP let them live below them is the question. Will they coexist, or will KCP decide to ape? If KCP decides to push this, well, that means a third party could come through from E6, and that could be the end of their tournament. So they're going to play this really slow, really wise.
When you want to be able to put into so much damage, you see all those grenades getting eaten up by the wall tunnel. It's the 3 Muppets that are now down to 1. Only 1 Muppet left from this team, as the Pioneers are going to be able to come out on top, and they get eliminated from this lobby. KCP already starting things off, looking fantastic for your pick, John.
Massive. That's a full squad wipe. Kansas City Pioneers has 4 kill points to kick off game number 6. And look, I like this little rivalry we got going on, Vicky. You and Raindig on E6. I got KCP. Who's with me in the chat, by the way? If you are cheering for a first Pro League dub for the Kansas City Pioneers in their entry to Apex Legends, let us hear it. Let us know if you guys want Nasky and the boys in Kansas City Pioneers to win. If you want other teams like Ascend to rise in the standings, or perhaps E6 to shake things up with the Lifeline meta, let us know if you want them to win in the chat. Meanwhile, Ascend find themselves using the triple take long range. I swear to God, I never can hit a shot long range with the triple take, so post kill is clearly better than me at life.
I love it. I love the triple take, honestly. It's a triple take G7 for me there, too, as well as that 30-30 that we're hitting, but you're traversing through open ground despite Kashera having that barrier to at least help close in that gap for you. Kashera now forced to pop the shield bat, so taking some time. He does manage to pop it off right here, too, as Postgo is giving them some suppressed fire, but that's enough time to pop those shield bats for the squad to back away.
Ascend had a pretty quiet game last game. They got taken out, I think, like 11th or 12th place overall in the standings. Need a much better game number 6 if they want to break into the top 5. Keep in mind, every placement point counts, because every placement point means after 6 games in Pro League weeks, you will get points that will give you your Pro League standings. Top 9 will qualify for the playoffs automatically. So top 9 at the end of the Pro League split 1 is what we're going to be fighting for here. As Kashera is going to go down early. This is looking bleak right now for Ascend. Here comes Lufka, the rookie. The new player on Ascend is going to be all left with post kill in a 2v3 to try and survive and keep Ascend alive here.
Last thing you want is your Newcastle be the first one to go. Not just to go, but to get dirtied at the same time, too. You can see Navi, they did get that trade from Zhang actually getting taken out. Oh, Rugby also getting knocked here, too. This is a great opportunity for Ascend to come out on top, but the third party is now coming in from the left side. It's the Seer now coming in. That's going to be another squad. It's going to be Hockeys, actually, with the rest of Alliance showing up their face, and that is the green light for Ascend to say, I'm out of here, but Lufka cannot get away in time. It's Alliance cleaning up the remainder of that squad. And look at the choke point that they're holding here too.
Yeah, such a brilliant decision from Alliance and Hockey. This is what they do well. Obviously, in these game 6, when they have slow starts, they find a way to stay relevant. Right now, 15th place, not looking very relevant in the grand scheme of the standings, but a big game in game 6 can break them into the top 10, can help them earn at least a few Pro League points, so they don't have to do that miraculous split 2, 3-week absolute dominant run that they did last year, which was insane. For those that missed it, Alliance had a terrible start to split 2 Pro League, and then to qualify for playoffs in their hometown of Stockholm, Sweden, went on an absolute tear, winning 3 out of the 4 last weeks of Pro League to make it barely to the playoffs. Let's see if they can start a little bit stronger here today with a big game 6.
Fallout, I don't know if you caught that, but Alliance is running the Pathfinder, by the way. So that is interesting to bring out to your final game. Okay, we got the mix-up. We got. I like to see this in our final game, but we also got to see them holding onto that sniper building that you could see them situated into the left side of the choke point that they originally cleaned up Ascend in. So they're just waiting to circle keep all of these squads that are leaving Countdown. I mean, look at this. You got Vexed out here. You got Heroes. I see another team over to the side. The tech's a little small for me to see, but there's 3 squads that are going to be in the line of sight of Alliance with little to no cover, which is going to be like a Thanksgiving feast for Alliance coming early.
Wow. I mean, when I started talking about Alliance right there, I was going to say they probably are running a different team comp. You know, they're not a team that's afraid to adjust their team comp if things are not working. But Pathfinder, that was the last thing I would have expected. I'd probably, the last legend I would have thought we'd see in today's lineup. Maybe Mirage is last, but second to last. We have a path on display here. If we can jump aboard with Alliance, they are next to 3 or 4 other teams in an interesting fight. Meanwhile, Echo finds himself in an interesting fight as well on the north side of the tunnel with dead side of the zone, so a lot less risk than we see Alliance fighting in on the south side. Should be really interesting.
Let's not forget that Echo landing in Climatizer didn't get contested this game against Navi, who landed in Tree instead. So Echo had a good amount of loot in the northern side of the map to be able to rotate in this direction. As you can see, Seer Tech for Seer Tech, as they're just trying to get enough of that information. Ooh, trying to take a shot with the Sentinel. Misses that first initial shot, but doesn't see somebody on the other side of that truck just yet. We're just going to be able to wait to see what Echo Esports wants to do, but the second shot that he lands is going to be able to find its mark. 70 damage on that, but not going to be able to fully contest because they want to hold the north side of the circle without giving up the real estate that's their south, which is survey.
That's right. Echo will find themselves in a bit of a standoff here on the north side, and they're going to eventually have to push, meanwhile, towards the south side of the map. We do know we had Vexed, we had Alliance, and 2 or 3 other teams nearby, and they're going to have to make their rotate, and not all of them are going to survive. So it could be the end of this Game 6 potential run from Alliance. Can Vexed, who had a dominant game number 4, show up big in Game 6? Those are some of the questions I'm really looking out for. Meanwhile, Kansas City Pioneers and others in Skyhook are in a really, really good spot. They're already well positioned, so all eyes on these other teams. Looks like Horizon versus Vexed is ensuing 0-0, almost down to 0 HP, as he's going to find a way to survive.
Also means that Vex took a longer rotation away from Countdown north towards Skyhook instead of going into the line of sight of Alliance, as Heroes is also going to take the real estate inside of this building. They're playing on the outskirts, but sometimes this rotation could be risky, even though it's a safer option because it has more cover, because now you're going to be forced to transcend from the low to high ground of that uphill that leads outside of Skyhook towards where that beacon building usually is north of Fragment West.
Yeah, and so many of these teams predicted a Skyhook finish incorrectly. You saw every team rotate straight to Skyhook thinking they'd be ending there, but now those teams are going to have to rotate through inside tunnels. An interesting zone. We haven't seen a lot of this zone. Usually when it's a northwest or northern circle, you do see a Skyhook finish, but instead going towards survey camp and in tunnels. So it's been a tough rotate for Heroes, for Alliance, for Vexed, and so many others. I'd love to check in and see where the Kansas City Pioneers are, how they rotated, where E6 is and how they rotated, and do a little whip around a couple teams to see what their positioning is looking like going into this late game. Still 17 squads remaining.
I gotta give the hype over to Alliance also in their social media team, because they're, you know, they talk about the future being here. It's past here at Horizon for them, and they're looking to continuously dominate in this game. I mean, they need it. They're holding on to that second page of the overall leaderboards. They need to have a pop-off game to end the day, as Pioneers are gonna be holding the uphill portion of this side of Skyhook. This is what I was mentioning before, but look at the positioning of the fence line too. You have to make sure the base of that fence is gonna be behind those rocks so that way it's not easily destroyed. And they're also gonna be able to overlook a lot of the action going on over here without putting themselves in a vulnerable position to the squads that are holding the choke point to the left of them.
That flex, the fence is straight leaning. I don't know how it's standing up straight. As we see nearby on the decline here, KCP doing such a good job gatekeeping everyone else back towards Skyhook. Can they pick up the kill points, though, is the question. Alliance playing as well. Hero is going to be eliminated to the hands of Corpa. Meanwhile, the Kansas City Pioneers riding this edge with E6 in shambles nearby. That might be the end of Vicky and Rain Day's Game 6 prediction here, as Slayer is going to be fighting 0-0, and the Turkish Stars eliminated. Corpa eliminated. The Kansas City Pioneers in a difficult, deep rotate will have to play this to a listen-in with KCP to see how they fare.
We need to TP. We need to TP.
Go kill them though. I think we should go kill all of this.
Yes.
I'm walking up.
I'm fucked. I'm with you, Del. I'm behind you, Del. I'm batting Del.
The Valkyrie is right here.
They ulted.
No EMP. Careful, Skynet, back.
Yeah.
I'm going different. I'm gonna pick some from here. Can I?
Careful behind you, Max. Careful behind you.
Is
maybe
it
don't
something
Up to
more?
us.
They're picking me from behind.
Gen on me.
Ahead of that.
Vex.
NS.
I died. Stay alive. This is Vex.
I died.
I can't stay alive. I'm fucking lucky.
Oh, they were just all alive, bro. Vex. That's not good.
Vex is gonna win.
And just like that, I get a tweet from a man Zephyr saying, don't sleep on Vexed, and Vexed eliminates KCP and tries to find a way to take a first place finish in this lobby. KCP is out, E6 is out, and Vexed has an opportunity of a lifetime, but Forge says, hey, it's time for our revenge from game number 4. Can they win the 3v3 against Vexed, who is already in shambles from KCP? Yes, they do. Vexed is eliminated as well.
The fact that Vatafi was still able to stay alive for as long as possible at the very end, and Tyler as well holding that door, was incredible because you saw that not coming into row. But Forge had the number advantage, they had the health advantage, but they drop. Okay, it's gonna drop right back down. Ricocheting off the rocks is gonna be the Seer ult, but that's still enough information for Forge to not only restabilize themselves, but to skyward dive right out of there. There was a squad that was on the high ground right above them, but it looks like they just rotated out of that line of sight into the left side, closer into that circle. Alliance also in some trouble. You can see them just holding on for cover for dear life behind that limited crate that they have in the line of sight of HP.
And Mandy's like, hey, no longer on the Scars competitive roster. I'm a content creator now. I'm going to play Pathfinder and just show you guys what's up, what content creation life is all about. No, I'm just kidding. Shout out to Mandy, one of the top streamers, best players that we have in EU, best personalities in EU. It's going to be a crazy finish here. Nice job right there from Forge. They were able to hit the Valk ult and rotate out. I'm not sure how they landed. Echo's going to get taken up by IG. Can IG have a back-to-back win to close this out? No, they're eliminated as well. So a crazy, crazy turn of events here in Game 6. The teams we thought would perform are all eliminated.
Echo still, though, in contention potentially here, though, as High Peak, one of the other highly performing teams, have been able to stay on top, but they lose out on Bavis. They're going to completely lose out on Bavis. You see the way that Hong Kong is going to be able to play around this natural cover of the rock, trying to avoid the black hole from getting sucked in. He only has the white barrel stave as well from the choke of the PK, so not too much to work with here, and also limited ammunition as he loses out on Fritz here too. Can he be able to dive in? He's playing this as a solo. He has another person that he has to worry about to his right. He's gonna be able to dive in. He knows the health pool of this player, but he puts himself in the line of sight of the other member of Phoenix Legacy as the third party is now rolling in.
Insane. He missed the PK shot that he needed. That could have taken out Sabs, but instead Sabs clutches up. Phoenix Legacy is going to be eliminated, though, to the hands of BFG, Bitfix Gaming, the newcomers to the ALGS. But Forge, who hit that rotation after taking out Vex, is alive and well. Digi, currently knocked. J Savage and Rowe are going to be the last two alive. The all-French squad going to have to hit reset, heal back up, and play as a team of 2 here.
What is this game that Forge is having right now? This is the game that I want to see them have because they've been able to clean up so many of the other squads on the outskirts of this circle. They need this here, as though they are going to be playing this as a duo just for right now. I'm not too sure if they're going to be able to get Digi in the process, but you can see the other squad that's 2 their 6, while BFG is taking a lot of their attention up in front.
And this is so interesting. LFO Forever in 12th place with 23. Forge in 11th place with 23 going into our 6th game. Both alive right now. BFG was in 14th place. So it's all of our top 20 teams that are surviving and are finding a way to get into the top 10 and get some Pro League points. Much needed Pro League points in the grand scheme of things here. But look who it is at the top right of your screen. A knock's going to come through. It's Sheila. Little Max from Iraq on Sheila takes out Jay Savage and ends their Cinderella story in Game 6.
They gotta wait for World Edge to take out the Rampart, and I love to see it because we talked about it in the pre-show originally that Bitfix Gaming likes to fixate their attention with the Rampart composition. Seer Tactical coming out, putting a dent to their plan, slowing things down with the circle closing in right behind Bitfix Gaming's. They now need to rotate in the line of sight of the squad that's waiting for them on the other side.
BFG down to team of 2. Sheila is out. Lil Max is ready to go guns blazing, but he gets taken out by Horizon. LFO doing a good job getting a few more kill points. 2nd place for them. 3v3 fight. They're going to hit the reset with shield swaps, but guess who's nearby? It's Game of Drones, not letting them reset. The Arc Stars and the Nades are so well positioned, giving the slow and giving the advantage to Game of Drones, but for how long is LFO's able to hit a reset?
Let's see right now. I mean, LFO, they already have the health advantage. They're looking to clean things up. Asori gets taken out. Game of Drones now looking like the houses are falling down one by one. And now they're playing off of the natural cover. But look at this. I love this split attention here from Game of Drones. This repositioning behind the high ground of the rock has now allowed them to reset and almost use their down teammate as bait. Because look how low light is. Look at the side positioning from Horizon. Neither of these squad mates want to put themselves out in the open because Rondon would just immediately fry them.
Yeah, it's House Stark versus House Targaryen right now as Horizon's gonna be pushing up, gets the initial Q done. 3v2, goodbye, Jules. 3v1, and LFO, who had a complete disadvantage at the beginning of this fight, are able to clutch it up with a huge game number 6. That'll put them from 12th place, surely, to the top 7. A massive game from LFO as we welcome back Rain Day here in a moment to break down all the action. What a remarkable showing.